August 31st garden update. Just trying to note what's worked and what hasn't worked, and just a baseline for what I can expect for next year, what to try again next year, what not to try next year. I guess since my last update, the main thing, I've planted some beans. I've stripped out a bunch of the old summer crops. My tomatoes, I left a couple tomatoes to let them finish ripening, but I pulled most of those out. And I've started getting some of my fall stuff going. The containers, the perennial Swiss chard, I think they call it perennial spinach. It's some form of Swiss chard. I like this one a lot. It grows really well in the containers, and you can see it on the edge of this plot over here. It grows a little different than the rainbow Swiss chard. It's not as thick stalked, but it's very hardy. I think I'm going to try that again next year. I think that was leftovers from last year, the seeds, so I'll probably have to buy some more of that. The mint, it went to seed, flower went to seed. I cut it back and just put about 2 inches of compost over top of it, and it's starting to sprout out again, so that worked out well to keep that crop going. This is collards and broccoli right here. I'm going to try a couple of those in containers, and I got a couple in the beds too. The tree collards continuing to do well. I really haven't harvested that much off of it, but I just do a mule here and there. I imagine if I wanted to, I could plant about 4 or 5 of those and have more collards than I could handle. Between the Swiss chard and the kale this summer, I really haven't had the desire to eat too much of the collards, but I think with the fall coming, I'll probably do one big harvest of all of it and freeze it up. I just harvested a bunch of beans. The beans have been doing really well, especially the bush beans. The pole beans left a lot to be desired, but they're starting to put on here. You can see the multicolored ones, they're starting to put off. They were just really slow. The bush beans, just so I remember, strike bush beans, bead seeds. Got them online. Some guy on YouTube, one of the gardeners on YouTube, had recommended it, and they've done awesome. As long as you keep picking them, they just put more and more and more off. The okra I did this year was a Clemson spineless, and it's done great. Okra always does well. The tomato, I did one of the sweet 100s, the little tomatoes, and I've got more than I can handle. I need to look, but this was some kind of hybrid I picked up at a local store. These bell peppers done well. I've gotten probably about 6 hardy ones off of each of those plants, so I'll probably do those in the front yard again. Collards, broccoli, that's to be seen. We'll see what happens with these guys. The sun path is starting to duck behind these trees now, so I'm not sure how well it'll be, or how well these cold crops will grow, but we'll see. This is that perpetual spinach, which is some form of Swiss chard. You can see how it's green stalks all the way down, and it's a little bit smaller, but it's really prolific. The jalapenos have done great. I'm gonna harvest all these probably here shortly. I've got some ones that are turning red that I need to get off, but I like to harvest them all at the same time, make one big batch of hot sauce, and probably freeze some of that. I think this was a Swiss chard, or the rainbow Swiss chard that I planted in the spring, and it's just continued to grow well. Especially now that I got it spaced out pretty good. Trying Brussels sprouts for the first time here and here. We'll see what happens. Pak choy, which the bugs really like this, so I don't know how well it's going to do. I started putting getting a little bit better with my neem oil. I need to get out here, and as soon as it dries up, to get some more neem oil and all this stuff. Threw one of these bell peppers back here just to see how it did, and I didn't think it would do too well. It's shaded out, and I've got this flower. It's either a zinnia or... Oh, cool. Here's the seed pods. I need to come out here and get these so I can have these next year. But it's shading it out too. So I think if it wasn't shaded out, it would have done alright. But I really don't get that much sun out here. You see little red peppers down there. I did a row of the striped beans here. They did pretty well. See one down here I didn't get. But between this row here and one row in my garden, I've got tons of beans. I've actually started throwing some in the freezer. Hey, buddy. Threw one of the... I think, what is this? It's one of the broccolis, or I think it's one of the broccolis. Or the collards, I'm not sure. Threw in there, we'll see what it does. But the backyard's starting to get where it doesn't get quite as much sun. Before I forget, the kale, I'm trying... Focus in there, focus. Red boar. So hopefully this red boar does well. We'll see. I put one in that container and a couple out in my main bed over here. What's up, man? Yeah, it is. Let's see, I put some leeks out. A couple more of these red boars. I think there's a broccoli there. Maybe a broccoli there. Some more greens here and there. I think those were the champions. And the buckhorn's still doing well. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes into the summer. But you can see I pulled up all the tomatoes that were through here. I left one there because I had a tomato I was ripening. There's a few more on there. I don't know if they're going to ripen. It's starting to fade too much. But the Sweet 100s, you can see that thing's loaded up. I've been picking that like crazy and it's still going. Pole beans, they did decent. I'm just starting to get beans off of those, really. I did a late planting on all my beans. I waited until my amaranth was done and my my other sugar snaps were done. So I got a late start on those, but it worked out well, especially the bush beans. But I have a feeling that striped bush beans did do well anytime. The fellow on YouTube, he mentioned that it was a really good bean to use, and he wasn't lying. The pole beans on this little TP, they didn't do anything. The birds just kept nibbling all the limbs off that one, so I don't even check that one anymore, but it looked neat over there. The kaigwa is starting to grow up. I was keeping it off of those sunchokes, but I just finally let it go. You can see the sunchokes, they're about 10 feet tall now, so I think if I wanted to, I could do a batch of sunchokes over there. The vert's still out on those kaigwas. I mean, they're putting little fruits off, but they're really not doing too much. I had one growing up here, but I gave up on it. It just wasn't doing anything. Okra in the corner of the fence has been doing really well. It's giving me tons of okra just off that little 10-15 foot stretch. Set up another bin over here for some more compost. So hopefully soon I won't be putting any fertilizer on my garden. I should be able to use all the compost. There's the mice killer. Hey, buddy. Hey. Well, hello to you too. Chickens are continuing to do good. They're over there chilling now. That little black Black Star, she's pumping them eggs out. The other two are pretty much worthless, but I haven't got. What the heck was that? What's she doing? She's opening her mouth. Hey girl, what you doing over here? Is that you shaking? She doesn't lay any eggs. That little red one don't lay any eggs, so they should be stew by now, but I'm too nice. Hey, I got some beans on that one now. I forgot I threw a couple, I had the Scarlet Runner beans. They didn't put much. They put a bunch of blooms with no beans, but I forgot I put some more of those pole beans. You can see they're loading up now. I need to give me a ladder and pick those. But that's about it. I pulled up the oregano just so I could put some of these plants in. These beans have been doing good too. This is the strikes I put over here. But these are starting to get a little rusty. You can see the color on them, and the beans too are getting a little bit of rust on them or whatever that is. So I just stopped picking those. They might be alright, but I got so many others coming out that I don't really care. Oh yeah, this little guy, I put me a jalapeno over here where it's pretty shady, and it did alright. You can see it's loaded up. It's even got a couple red ones on there. Had a tomato plant over here, one of those Sweet 100s, and even though this is really shady over here, it did well too. Yep, that's about it. August 31st, 2015. So far, so good.